Hello and welcome to the binary exploitation. In this video lesson, I am going to exploit buffer overflow vulnerabilities in order to get shell access further and performing all the exploitations to achieve more. Before going to start, you need to have a basic understanding about the assembly language, registers in the CPUs, shell coding, and the debuggers, and the little endian formats and the big endian formats. I will explain this later in this video. These are the reference and the resources where from you can get all this stuff and information easily with simple Google search and with these the websites. This is really an easy task to get all this information and equip yourself with this knowledge, because going to start and exploiting the target with the memory corruption and the target crashing the system and all that exploitation that requires memory, you need to have solid understanding about the heap, stack, registers and the code segments. Okay, so let's start and attack a binary exploitation to get a buffer overflow attack. There is a website set up at the overthewire.org website. All this game has been set up here in order to practice yourself and practice your knowledge. You can find more information about this, how to use it and how to connect it. In this video lesson, I will connect with that Narnia lab that is hosted on the over the wire, and simply I will perform a buffer overflow exploitation and extend the limit to get a shell access further. So let's start. In order to connect with the Narnia lab that hosts vulnerable code that can be exploited with the vulnerabilities that it have, you need to connect with SSH, and in this way, the first one is the Narnia 0 at the Narnia lab. With the default password Narnia 0. Now we have a shell access on the Narnia lab. Now here we can just start and get the code access and start attacking and exploiting the codes and get a shell access and extend the attack with the binary exploitation. So simply go to the directory that it contains the code. Narnia 0 is the application that consists an attack with the first step to start buffer overflow exploitation, and Narnia0.c is the source code for that application. So let's first see what is the source code in order to analyze it and understand basics of that code and what it says, how the coding has been constructed to find out if there is any vulnerabilities present or not. This is the source code of that Narnia 0. Here we can see there is a C language of code, and this is the value that it holds in the memory with a 20 byte of buffers. As you can see, there is a fixed size of 20 byte, meaning that it can only handle 20 byte of data and it can store in the memory. And if we will be able to insert this code in the hex format, that is the date with in the little endian format, then we will get a password for the next step that is hosted on the Narnia lab. So our goal is to just find out the password for the next lab and get the shell access. So at first, you need to make sure that this code is vulnerable to the buffer overflow or not. As you can see, in the scanf function of the C language, the text input from the user and matches with the buffer size that it have. So simply we will just start the application, that is Narnia 0, and enter the input. So as you can see, there is only the 20 byte of buffer size, memory size that it contains. The result is that putting the data more than 20 byte will make it buffer overflow and crash the application. So put the data more than 20 bytes. This is more than 20 bytes of data. As you can see, the memory size from 41, that is hex format of A character, has been changed to 42, that is the hex character of B. In this case, we are confirmed that this application can be exploited with a buffer overflow, that it holds only the 20 byte of memory, and putting memory more than 20 bytes of data will make it crash. So I will simply use a Python script to inject that code more than 20 bytes of data. So for using this, I will simply use a Python scripting and put the A for the 20 times If we will be able to inject the code that is dateweave in this format, then we will be able to get the password for the next one. So this code should be injected in the little endian format. For the little endian, the last in and the first out, it will be EF, BE, AD and DE. So just put it in the hex format. So the last one is EF, BE, AD and DE. This is the format of little endian. Now I will just simply echo this to the Narnia1 lab password file and get the password and reflect it to the current Narnia 0. So simply I will cat and this is the password file, and I will make a pipe symbol to reflect this. Now hitting enter will just put the memory more than 20 bytes of data and with the dateweave in the hex format, and then it will just pass with the application through with the password that could be used and the next lesson to get a shell access. So this way it could be exploited with the vulnerability of buffer overflow. As you can see, the value have been overwritten with the dateweave, and it is the successful exploitation of the buffer overflow. And this is the password for the next label that can be used to log in the next section. So I will simply log out from here, and I will use to log in with another one section, that is Narnia 1, that will give us prompt. Okay, so let's start with the Narnia 1 lab and try to log in to see that this password is true or not. Just simply copy the password. Put it here. Well succeeded. As you can see, this is the Narnia 1 lab and the password was the true. So in this way, we have just exploited the buffer overflow vulnerability in the application. Using this could extend you to the shell access. You can get a shell access, and similarly, you can practice more. There is a lot more hacking stuff on this lab to practice, from binary exploitation to the web level to attack the web applications. I strongly recommend you that use this and further extend your knowledge about the binary exploitation and the coding and shell access and all this stuff that are used in the exploitation of the coding level and the scripting level to extend your knowledge and attack the target applications. Because being a pentester tester, you will always find that you have to simply create your own script and manually attack the application in order to get successful penetration test. So going to start, my recommendation is to simply read all this stuff and the terms on over these links. This will help you to perform a successful exploitation from binary exploitation. There are a lot more scripts found on the Metasploit as well, but still you do need to create your own script and start attacking the application with your own level of knowledge. Because as a pen tester, you must be able to read the script, read the code, what the code is saying. If you don't know the coding exercises, it doesn't matter, but you must need to have solid understanding of what the code is saying, what it is trying to throw with the results. So my recommendation is to use these labs over the wired.org and play all these labs and stuff to extend your knowledge with the exploitation and the binary exploitation. Exercising will make you expert of exploitation. This is really a big game in the pentest testing and the hacking community. Thank you.